Hey guys, welcome back. Now let's get started with our day 12 walkthrough. So today's learning objectives are defense in depth, basic endpoint hardening, simple boot to root methodology. We are dealing with a server that is vulnerable by design. It contains misconfigurations and has been implemented with poor or simply non-existent security practices. This part of the task will walk you through one of the many ways we can get elevated privileges on the server. Skipping the enumeration part, we can access Jenkins via Firefox on its default port, which is 8080. You should be greeted by a page that looks something like this. Getting a web shell. We instantly gain access to general workings of Jenkins, explore the features that we can play with, and you'll see that there's a way to execute arbitrary scripts for administration, troubleshooting, diagnostics on the machine. On checking this further, you'll see that it can be used to spawn a web shell. Click on the Manage Jenkins button on the left side of the page, scroll to the bottom, and you will see the option we want, which is Script Console. Script Console is a feature that accepts Groovy, a type of programming languages for Java platform. Let's jump straight in and try to establish a reverse shell using this feature. Copy the script above and paste it into the Script Console text box. Remember to change the host value to your attacking machine's IP. Open a new terminal and set up a netcat listener using this command. So now let's go ahead and fire up our machine. Once both the reverse shell script and the netcat listener are ready, you can press the run button at the bottom. You should see an established connection in your attacking terminal, and you can test the shell by sending some typical Linux commands such as id and who am I. A successful connection would look like this. So now let's copy this. Now let's copy the script. Click on Manage. And Script Console. Now let's paste our code. Now let's set up a listener on this port using netcat. So now let's go ahead and run the script. So a connection has been established here. Now that we have a web shell with the Jenkins user, we can explore the server's content of things that we can use to improve our shell and perhaps escalate our privileges. Check the usual folders and you'll be able to find an interesting bash script in the file /opt/scripts folder named backup.sh. Check the contents of the file. You'll find a simple implementation of backing up the essential components of Jenkins and then sending it to the folder home Tracy backups via SCP. The file also contains the credentials of the user Tracy. The SCP command is a clue that SSH may be used on the server. If so, we can use it to upgrade our user and shell, open a new terminal and log in via SSH using the command SSH Tracy @ IP address. Enter the password when prompted and you'll be logged into the Tracy account. Finally, we can use sudo -l to find out what commands the user is permitted to perform using sudo. So here we have the password. Let's try to connect via SSH. Now let's paste the password. So now let's type in sudo -l. So now let's become root. Now let's go and check the question so that we don't miss any of it. So here the first question is, what is the default port for Jenkins? If you remember in the URL first provided, it was 8080. The password of the user Tracy, let's paste it here. What is the root flag? Let's go into the root directory. Okay, so here we have a flag. Let's read it. What is the error message when you log in as Tracy again and try the sudo -l after its removal from the sudoers group? Okay, we haven't done that yet. Let's go back. Guided hardening of the server. Going back to our attack exercise from earlier, we discovered that root is very easy to achieve, but there is full trust within the server environment. Removal of Tracy from sudo group. We should always follow the principle of least privilege, especially for systems in production. In this example, the user Tracy is made in such a way that it has the same permission as the admin. This gives the user more flexibility. However, it also runs into a risk of misuse, not only by the owner of the account but also by others who gain access to this account, as we did. To remove Tracy from the sudo group, we use the following command. Let's copy this command. To confirm the removal of the sudo group, we can use sudo -l-u Tracy. Let's open another terminal. So now we got the error message. Let's copy this. So the next question is, what is the SSH flag and what is the Jenkins flag? That change alone made all difference between achieving root and staying with the user Tracy. Now the attacker is left with three immediate options. Further enumerate the server for a possible route to root within the user Tracy. Find a way to move laterally within the system to a user with a possible route to root access, or find a different target. The path to root has been made more complicated for the attacker, but that doesn't mean that we should stop here. Attackers can be very creative in finding all sorts of ways to accomplish privilege escalation. Any additional layers will make it a lot harder for the bad actors to achieve their objectives. Remember that as attackers, we were able to use SSH in the server to move laterally from a lower level user. In light of this, we can disable password-based SSH logins so that we can thwart the possibility of SSH login via compromised plaintext credentials that are just lying around. In the admin shell, go to this file and edit it using your favorite text editor. Find the line that says password authentication yes and change it to no. Then find the line that says this and comment it out. And then enter this command to restart the service. Now let's change it to no. Okay, now let's comment this out. Once we have applied all of the hardening steps discussed, you'll notice that we are able to patch many of the vulnerabilities that we initially exploited to get the root access. We are back in the web shell that served as an initial foothold in the system, and it's accessible as a result of Jenkins implementation that assumes full trust within the environment. It's fitting that the last hardening steps we'll apply in the server is one that promotes zero trust. Instead of opening up the workings of the platform to everyone on the environment, this change will allow just those who have access to the platform. In the admin terminal, proceed to Jenkins home directory using the command cd var lib jenkins. Here you will see two versions of Jenkins config file, the config.xml and the config.xml.back. Fortunately for us, the administrator kept a backup of the original configuration file before implementing the current one. As such, it would be more straightforward for us to revert it back to the original by removing the comments in the XML file. So here we missed out a flag. So here we got the flag. Now let's continue. Remove the command for both authorization strategy and security realm. Then save the file. We can then remove the current active config file. After that, we can copy the backup file to make a new config file and then restart the service. Once that's done, you'll see that unlike before, the inner workings of Jenkins are not accessible. It should be noted that the fresh installs of Jenkins feature a login page by default. So if you notice here, we have the Jenkins flag here. Let's copy that also. So this time, as you can see, we have directly come into the login page. So we have completed our day 12 walkthrough. Thank you for watching my video and stay tuned for more.